Hi guys, Tom Morrison here, and today we want to go over what to do if you feel like you have overstretched something. So when you're following videos on YouTube or flexibility programs, sometimes you can actually end up feeling almost worse than whenever you started. And this is quite common, and it is part of the process, and you have to think of stretching as a skill that you need to develop over time. So you need to figure out where you're at with certain things, and sometimes you can go a bit far. It's not something to worry about, you just need to know what to do when things like that happen. So we are going to give you some tips to work on if you feel like you've overstretched something in your hips, and if you have overstretched something in your shoulders. There are loads of different types of stretching techniques out there, and some people have better tolerance to some types than other people. So it's really trying to hone in and find the one that works best for you. So you've got all different types, like isometric, you've got passive, you've got active, you've got ballistic, you've got dynamic, you've got PNF stretches, all different. There's even way more than that. So it's really about trying to find the best things that work for you. But the only way to do that is to have a go, and that is the way you're going to find out what works best for you. And in some cases, some things that work for you now may not work for you in future, and vice versa. Some things that aren't working for you now, you may have a better tolerance to in the future whenever you've practiced more and your body is better at adapting to new stimulus. When it comes to the hips, specifically if you have, for an example, overstretched your hamstring, what you really want to be thinking about is getting your glutes to feel active and all the muscles in your hip to feel active as well. So this is going to make things feel a lot more supported and help promote recovery, because there's less chance of your body really stiffening up and getting really nervous about a certain range of motion. So you don't want to go to the full extent with anything that you can do. You just want to hover around what feels comfortable and start to build on that. Whatever range of motion feels nippy or really sensitive to you, use that as a test, and after you do these few exercises, then revisit that and see have you made a change to the sensation. If you feel like things are getting much worse, then you're not quite ready to move yet, but if you feel like they're helping, then you know that you're going to be able to do this a couple of times a day. So, first thing is, once you've done your test, so again, we'll just keep using the hamstring as an example. If Jenny uses a hamstring stretch, and say she was to put on her pain face and be like, ooh, we don't like that, we're even scared to straighten our knee, then you kind of know, right, that's my rated out of, on a pain scale of 1 to 10. Then from there, what you're going to do is go into an all fours position, and you're going to just work on some nice, gentle fire hydrants first of all, and we're not going to be strict with these, okay? So Jenny's going back with the leg, and then bringing it around to the front, and then she's going to go out to the side, and she's going to bring it around the back. So for this, for now, let the lower back join in. I know, right? Let everything help out that it needs to. Try and move your hip in comfortable ranges that feel okay to you, and you feel like the muscles are actually working. So avoid anything that does feel intensely nippy. You're going to do each side like that. So again, you just go back and up and then out and back. And you're just really trying to get the glutes to feel like they're doing something as you're working on this. So you're going to do 10 on each side. And then from there, the next drill is going to be some external and internal rotations. Again, nice and slowly, Jenny goes up. She externally rotates from the hip and sets her foot down nice and gently, and then she rocks herself back a little bit, and then brings herself back forwards, and then she's going to internally rotate the leg as much as you can, and then bring it back down. Again, only go to ranges that feel comfortable to you. And if you've only got one side that you feel you've overstretched and the other side feels totally fine, use that as sort of your marker as well to go, this should feel like the good side when you're on the bad side, so that you kind of know what's going to feel, or what something's supposed to feel like. So again, it's externally rotate, and then rock yourself back, internally rotate, and then set the leg back down. And you can do 10 on each side, or you can alternate like Jenny's doing now and sit back. I quite like to alternate. I think that's probably my more favorite thing to do. Awesome. And again, let the lower back help out. Let things shift and change and compensate any way they want. You just want to try and get as much total hip movement as you can. And hopefully you'll start to notice as you're going through the reps that things start to feel easier. So it's 10 of the fire hydrants, and then 10 of your external and internal rotations. After that, bring yourself into something that's called the 90-90 position. So Jenny's just going to scoot yourself out to the side. From there, if you're feeling quite delicate, you'll probably want to have your legs in a little bit more. The full variation is to get right out, as Jenny was that there. But if you're feeling really, really sensitive, bring the legs in because it's less intense. Then from there, use your hands to walk you around and help you to change from side to side. And again, nice and slowly. Keep your breathing relaxed the whole time. Big, big belly breaths. You're going to stop anything tensing up. One of the first things that'll happen anytime you sense a bit of pain will be everything will go like that, and you'll start to hold your breath. And you want to make sure that you're working through that by using your breathing the whole time. So hopefully as you're doing the reps, and just switching from side to side here as Jenny's doing, keeping her hands down on the floor, this is going to be something that's going to really start to help to ease things off. And the full variation of this, if Jenny takes her hands off the floor, you should comfortably be able to swap from side to side without putting the hands down the floor. But if you have overstretched, then that's when you will go back to regressions, okay? So that's how you can get yourself back to where you were. So after you've done that and things are hopefully feeling a little bit better, then you really want to fire up the glutes. So Jenny's going to do 20 glute bridges for me. Nice. Well, we're not doing the full 20. We'll just demonstrate. You guys do 20, but Jenny's going to do, well, just make her do 10. We'll be nice to Jenny today. She's going to squeeze at the top and keep that squeeze the whole time she lowers down. She's really trying to make her feel her glutes as much as she can. So if you can fire up the glutes, there's less chance of the lower back shouting at you, and there's less chance of the hamstring shouting at you. So it's a really, really good thing to do after any kind of stretching exercise you've done. Think full range of motion, move the joint like a joint, and then activate the good, big, strong muscles that are supposed to work hard, which is your butt. So after you've done that, retest the initial thing that you maybe found really, really nippy to you. So Jenny's going to go back to the hamstring stretch, and hopefully that ooh face is turned into a ooh face, and things feel a little bit better. And you can keep, like I said, revisit this sequence a few times throughout the day. Try not to sit still for too long throughout the day, and that'll be a massive help to you overcoming that issue. And then you'll know when you restart into your hamstring stretches again, just to back off that little bit. So don't be scared to get back into things whenever all of these movements feel completely better to you again. Next, we'll have a look at your funky shoulders. So if you have a movement that feels really pinchy to you, like moving your hands out to the sides or up overhead, and you're like, ha, and you want to cradle everything and cry to your mommy or whatever it is that people do when they've got sore shoulders, what you want to then start working on again is that full joint movement. So what Jenny's going to do is go into that all fours position, and she is then going to start doing shoulder rolls forwards and backwards. So you get nice range of motion here. And if this feels really clunky and bumpety to you, it means you need to do this a lot more often. So from here, make sure the elbows stay nice and straight. If you bend your elbows, you have to, I don't know, send me money over the internet or something like that. Don't bend your elbows, you're doing this, you're looking at all of this movement to come through the shoulder blades, okay? And as you do this, you shall hopefully feel things loosen off that little bit. And over a period of weeks or months, if you keep doing this, you'll notice that all of that crunching and grinding all starts to float away. So 20 forwards and 20 backwards. Awesome. And then from there, we're going to test our internal and external shoulder rotation. So just from a kneeling position or seated position, get yourself comfy. From there, Jenny is going to turn her hands in as far as she can. See what that feels like, and then back out as far as she can. And if it feels really pinchy, sort of shimmy around with your shoulders a wee bit and see if you can lessen that sensation anymore. And as well, just as I actually did there, if you're feeling really pinchy up at the top here, move your hand down a bit and start to work on it down there. Try and find a range where that internal and external rotation doesn't feel painful to you, and start to actually build on that. So if you need to have the hands at different heights, totally fine. Play around with it. Don't let it become something that your body's going danger with, okay? So as you do this, you should find, just through doing the reps, that things start to ease off that little bit more. So it's your 20 shoulder rolls forwards, 20 shoulder rolls backwards, and then your internal and external shoulder rotations. And then from there, you then go into a bit of activation work. So Jenny's back in that all fours position, and she's going to do some flies. So from here, she keeps everything locked down to where it is. She then raises one hand back as far as she can and squeezes her back muscle. So you should feel this in the lats, in and around here, as you're reaching back. And then she goes out to the side, same idea. And she's not looking to rotate up to the sky or anything like that there. Depending on where your flexibility is at as well, you'll have your arm at different heights. Just depends. Jenny's quite flexible, so she can get her arm higher than most. From here, again, you go back to that, and you're just going to do 5 of those each direction, okay? So it'll be 10 reps in total. Go out, pause and squeeze, and again, keep your breathing relaxed. Go out, pause and squeeze. So 5 of those in each direction, and do that on both sides. That's it. If anyone's sitting beside you, make sure you don't slap them in the face. Really, really pause at that top position. Really try and make your back muscles feel like they're doing something. The same way you're really trying to fire up the glutes, here you're trying to fire up everything that supports the shoulder at the back here. Awesome. And then after you've done that, retest your initial thing that felt nippy or ouchy and see how that feels, see if things feel a little bit better, and then again you can start to hit these exercises a few times a day. You're not going to overtrain these movements, don't worry, and hopefully, like we've been saying, you'll be able to get over a problem that could potentially have been a few weeks. You'll be able to get over it in a matter of days, which would be absolutely awesome. And then keep these movements as part of your overall training because they're just good movements to do. Okay guys?